Audie Murphy, the most decorated man of World War II, who went on to become a movie star, was found dead this afternoon in the wreckage of a light plane in the hills of Virginia. I am Audie Murphy, the sister of Audie Murphy, the most decorated hero of World War II. The Audie Murphy mystery, finally, solved and isn't good. In 1901, the entire United States was shocked by the news. Audie Murphy, the hero of World War II, and a renowned movie star, perished in a private plane crash. His death was not just a great loss, but also a haunting wound on the minds of millions of Americans. After decades of investigation, researchers uncovered the mystery behind Audie Murphy's death, and they were astounded by what they discovered. The plane had been sabotaged, dark forces were behind it, and the tragedy of the hero became a sacrifice for the U.S. government. What truly happened in the skies that day? And why are these secrets only being revealed now? Audie Murphy lived an illustrious life from the battlefield to the silver screen. But what made such a great man? Let's take a look at the humble beginnings of this remarkable man. Audie Leon Murphy was the sixth child in a large family. His parents were poor farmers living in the harsh, rural conditions of Texas. The Murphy family lived in a dilapidated wooden house with no electricity, no clean water, and reliant on each harvest to survive. From an early age, Audie had to face hunger and responsibilities beyond his years. By the time he was 5 years old, he could handle a hoe and use a rabbit gun to help feed the family. Tragedy struck when his father left the family when Audie was just 15. Only a year later, his beloved mother passed away from pneumonia, leaving him to care for his 10 younger siblings. At 16, Audie became the sole breadwinner, and he was forced to drop out of school after the 5th grade. To make ends meet, Audie worked a variety of jobs repairing radios, selling merchandise, driving cars, pumping gas, and even working in a garage. He even picked cotton for just $1 a day. Despite living in poverty, Audie stood out for his quiet personality and deep inner life. His friends said he spoke little and often sat in silence alone. His teacher once remarked that Audie never turned in homework because he didn't have paper to write on. In 1942, when the country needed the strongest men to fight, Audie Murphy was rejected by both the Navy and the Marine Corps for being too small and light. But instead of giving up, he did something no one dared think of. He had his older sister falsify his records, adding a year to his age. From being a young man, not yet of age, he entered basic and advanced training. Not only that, he excelled to the point of being awarded a sharpshooter medal. But the miracle didn't stop there. After joining the U.S. Army, this too light young man became a legend in World War II. From the fierce battles in North Africa, through the tough Italian front, across France, and finally into the heart of Germany, Murphy fought like a storm. Despite standing at only 5'5", he was quick and an excellent marksman. Many described Audie as having an incredible energy and calm demeanor that made everyone around him instinctively obey. On January 26, 1941, in the bitter cold of winter, Murphy's unit was overwhelmed by a German battalion. His comrades were heavily casualties and began retreating into the woods. At that moment, Murphy climbed onto the wreckage of a tank, still equipped with a working 50 caliber machine gun, and turned it into a deadly fortress. For over an hour, Murphy fired at the enemy while calling in artillery support on the radio, all while blood poured from a wound in his leg. When the battle ended, the bodies of German soldiers were scattered around the burning tank. Murphy was still alive and victorious, despite being the only one left. For this impossible feat, Murphy was awarded the Medal of Honor, the U.S. military's highest distinction, at the age of 19. Returning from the battlefield as a national hero, Murphy faced an even more difficult battle: post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. The haunting memories from the battlefield lingered so much so that he always slept with a loaded handgun under his pillow. His first wife, Wanda Hendricks, once recounted how he had pointed a gun at her face. She also revealed that she had seen him suffer and cry when watching news reports about orphanages in post-war Germany. But he didn't give up. Murphy quickly turned to a career in Hollywood acting. Over the course of his career, he appeared in more than 40 films, but the most notable was To Hell and Back. In this film, Murphy played a deeply personal role, portraying himself, a soldier returning from the hell of war. The film became a box office phenomenon, not only due to its haunting story, but because of the powerful connection between the real man and the character on screen. Though often cast in leading roles in westerns and war films, genres that seemed tailor-made for him, Murphy always maintained a humble distance from the Hollywood spotlight. He candidly shared that he was not a born actor, but was simply trying to tell the story of what he had lived through and lost. In addition to acting, Murphy had a soulful, artistic side, immersed in music. He wrote several country and western songs. Some of his compositions were recorded by artists like Dean Martin and Charlie Pride, spreading Murphy's soul across the radios of the 1960s. Murphy's acting career flourished in the late 1950s and early 1960s. In 1990, Murphy had a notable role in the classic Western Night Passage. This was his opportunity to share the screen with two legends, James Stewart and Dan Duryea. 2 years later, Murphy made his mark in 3 more westerns. In The Wild and The Innocent, he formed a perfect partnership with actress Sandra Dee. He also took on the role of co-producer in the drama cast A Long Shadow. But it wasn't until he played a cold-blooded killer in the suspenseful No Name on the Bullet that Murphy truly captivated critics and cemented his status as a versatile leading man. Not only successful on the big screen, Murphy also made a strong impression on television. In 1960, he appeared in the series Star Time alongside the legendary Thelma Ritter, winning over more audiences. Wherever he went, his talent shone brightly, whether on stage or in front of the camera. Director Don Siegel once said Murphy had the look of a paperboy, but the bravest man I've ever known. Writer David McClure wrote, "You could walk past Audie Murphy on the street and not notice until he looked at you, and then you knew that person had lived and fought beyond fear." But despite conquering both the battlefield and the silver screen, Audie Murphy still carried invisible scars that no role could hide.